And so, hello and welcome back. Just for a quick discussion for this video is a update for our Pioneer format now that the Wilds of Eldraine is legal to play in this Pioneer. And so, you can see here as one of the recent results, MTGO preliminary. And I want to highlight this one is this one is, I think it's just a miss. Nick. On this one, it's Rakdos control with accommodating the new cards, specifically Beseeched the Mirror, and also what other cards that it may offer in this one. So the deck has typically evolved from a typical mid-range deck to that of a semi-discarder in the form of gaining board and card advantage with Waste Not. So this enchantment would typically go with a triggered effect that whenever an opponent discards a creature card, you will create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So whenever an opponent discards a land card, you will add 2 black mana to your mana pool, and whenever an opponent discards a non-creature non-land card, you will draw a card. So in any way that opponent discards with Waste Not in play, you would definitely get the value out of this. So just going to do with the wish wall. So again, we have 25 lands, 6 creatures, and other spells that are mostly instants, sorceries, and other enchantments and artifacts. So you can have a quick preview here. So the creature choices are typically that of fits for the control deck. So we have 2 Kroxa Titan of Death's Hunger. This effect would also go with having your opponent discard a card. So for each opponent that didn't discard another card, we lose 3 life. So another option also, you can have this one escape from your graveyard by paying this mana 2 black and 2 red, and then exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. So that with the other effect on that, we also have a copy of Kalitas. This is more of also a control mechanic in which whenever non-token creature an opponent controls would die, they would be exiled, and then you will create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. In any way, it goes well with your spot removal, such as that of the Fatal Push, wherein you just need to go untap with the Kalitas in play and then kill off your opponent's creatures. And also with that addition is 3 copies of Sheoldred the Apocalypse. So this is now the generic card added for this deck, despite that having also the controlish effect, and having them to draw a card would also punish them by having them lose 2 life every time they do the instance. So with that setup, you can see here a bunch of discard effects. We have 4 Thoughtseize, 2 Go Blanks. This is definitely anti-graveyard also, because ability that can exile the player's graveyard as it resolves. We have a single copy of Jures, and also another effect is that we can also have Liliana of the Veils +1, wherein each player will discard a card and also have a discard effect with the Waste Not ability resolves and gain advantage out of it. Now for the other relevant card here, aside from the usual spot removals, is how you would go with Beseeched the Mirror. So whenever you do this one, you can bargain as it resolves by sacrificing artifact, enchantment, or token. So search your very for a card, exile it face down, and shuffle. If that spell was bargained, this spell was bargained, you may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost if it spells mana value 4 or less. So this was that effect. You can see here the relevant creatures here are typically Kalitas and Sheoldred. So in any way, you can Beseech the Mirror. You can just basically bargain and cast Sheoldred for free as the mirror resolves, or you can use also Kalitas. And with Kroxa, though, you want to have this one cast from the mirror because it just needs to be escaped from your graveyard. So when that's set up, you can basically curve out with spot removals or discard effects, cast a Waste Not, and then Beseech a Mirror for a Sheoldred or Kalitas in any situation or scenario that you may fit. So let's discuss the other cards that are still relevant here. We have a single copy of Extinction Events as a sort of a mass removal because of the Excel effect, choosing odd or even. And then we will have also a copy of Rankle's Prank. This would also have option to discard your opponents, or each player discards 2 cards, or each player loses 4 life and sacrifices 2 creatures. You can basically choose 1 or more on this. So basically, if you would be able to beseech this one with a bargain, and you would also cast Rankle's Prank for free by choosing 1 or more options as you resolve this. And also we have a single copy of Slaughter Games. This would be in any effect for any combo matchup wherein you can choose an unland card name, search target opponent's graveyard in hand for any number of that card name, and then exile them, and then have your player shuffle the library. So other option here, you can see several one-offs are Reckoner Buster, of course, for Ricardo effect, and also have a relevant threat later on. We have also a single copy of Bitsugu Consumes All. This is basically before a sideboard card, but it's now done in the main deck because of the Beseeched, the mirror's ability that can be able to tutor this. So it has an effect that can destroy all non-permanent with mana value 1 or less, basically dealing off with the Cauldron decks. And then you can exile or graveyards and then have this one returned into a vessel of all consuming with this enchantment creature that can have this effect. And that finally is, of course, Fable the Mirror Baker, which is still the very stable component of the red-green or black-red Rakdos discarder kind of build. Now for the quick rundown again for the sideboard, we have 2 Jures as an added discard effect for mid-range and control matchups. 1 Pitting Needle, basically for turning off relevant planeswalkers such as Teferi and the Wandering Emperor. Dumping Spear for, I think, for Lotus blue matchups, can punish them for producing extra mana. And also for Storm count effects, because this also can nullify their cards. We have also a single copy of Dreadbore for any relevant spot removal. 2 copies of Shoulders effect that can also deal with the planeswalkers by having them sacrificed, and token or non-token creature. We have 2 copies of Unlicensed Hearse that can go exile for any cards from a single graveyard, particularly for any graveyard shenanigan matchups. We have a copy again of Brotherhood's End for a short and quick 3 damage effects to its creature and its planeswalker, and can also destroy artifacts with mana value 3 or less. Additional copy with Bitsugu Consumes All, and more of extinction events that just be relevant to any aggro matchups, and also Ritual Suit that can help you in your matchup against aggro, especially particularly humans and spirits. And last but not the least is Thought Distortion. 6 to cast mana that can be countered, and then have your opponent reveal their hand and exile all non-creature, non-land cards from the player's hand and graveyard, as long as you have done this one, for particularly for blue-white matchups and maybe Esper control matchups. So I guess that's pretty much it for this deck. I would like to discuss more of this, but we'll have other videos upload for this one for other archetypes in Pioneer. So that is your Rakdos Control Waste Not deck update for Pioneer. And if you have tried this one in MTGO or MTG Arena, maybe for the Explorer matchups, let me know in the comments below so we can have a thorough discussion on this, and maybe what were your comments on how Beseeched the Mirror would fill up on this build, and what other options are available to improve this deck. So I guess that's pretty much it for this deck tech. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you in the next video.